So, we're talking about what makes a man today, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to ask you, Fabian, like, what brought this topic to mind? Like, what inspired writing that I saw from you?
Um, First things first. Name is
Yeah,
Fabian Rosado.
right.
I'm
Hello.
Hi, Fabian.
I'm I'm 23 years old. I live in Miami, Florida. Now, one thing, at least from going around the country and being able to speak to people from all different kinds of backgrounds and cultures and everything else, is that taking a look, especially at today's age and our generation and everything else, the topic that's generally brought up is how twisted the new generation is and how misguided and sheltered we are, and we have no idea what direction we're going in. So when it comes down to it, to be completely honest, as one from the new generation, is to take a look at what is it that we're lacking. And to be completely honest, the sad truth is that there's plenty of boys walking around in grown men bodies. So you have to
Yes.
ask yourself,
Damn.
what makes a man? You know?
I. That was a
So
punch right
true.
there. That was the punch. Like,
you know?
start off strong.
It's true. Just saying, there's gonna be a lot of truth in here, so a lot of people are gonna be punch drunk after this.
I think so.
I don't want to offend anyone, but like,
Mhm.
I think there's like an extended adolescence in like
Mhm.
this day and age, in general, and a
Mhm.
lot of guys, you don't have to. And like the way women are looking at relationships now with birth control, everything like that, like often if they want a baby, they'll do it themselves. Like, so guys kind of take it like a lot of the time they take it really easy in their life. They're like, oh, I don't really need to settle down these days. You know, it's not like I got a farm to run. But in some places in the world, people settle down and think about marriage in a lot of different ways. Like in New Zealand, they certainly do think about marriage in a lot of different ways. Like a friend of mine owns a dairy farm. He just got married last year. He's 2 years younger than me. You know, like
But what do
it's
you
just
think?
wherever you are in the world, of course. But
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
overall, there are certain qualities that a man should exhibit, in, and it's almost universal throughout cultural lines, right?
Mhm.
That's a very interesting. Like the breadwinner, the provider, the protector, the
Mhm.
father, like the patriarch. You know?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing that I noticed, it was beautiful that you said that, because that's actually something I was thinking of as you were speaking, is that the man is supposed to be the protector. We're supposed to be the provider. You know, we're supposed to be the foundation of security in a home and in ourselves, most
Absolutely.
importantly. You know, one man spoke to me and said that a man's job when he's with his family is that if somebody's breaking into your home, the man is not supposed to be in the closet holding his family like it's gonna be okay. That's the
No.
woman's job. The
Oh
woman is supposed to
man.
be with the kids saying it's gonna be okay. Your dad got this. Your dad is supposed to be walking out and said, okay, he has to handle his business. That's what a
Mm.
man is supposed to be doing. But the problem is that there's a lot of men walking around pretending to be men, but are very feminine like, that have a lot
Mm.
of women qualities. I'm not being able to stand up as a man. You know, um,
Absolutely.
you
Mm.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's actually most commonly found in. It's weird on how it's brought up, but alpha male and beta male is brought up a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The alpha male is seen as sort of the dominant, like, macho man banging on his chest all the time, while the beta male kind of just, sits back and relaxes. But the
Mm-hmm.
problem is that since so many men don't know how to be a man with their foundation, they walk around as betas screaming that they're alphas, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yes, of course it
Mm.
does. I
So,
like to think of things in terms of dogs,
mm-hmm.
anyways. So like, but I'd like to hear from you, Jane. Like, what's
No, go ahead. Go
what do you
ahead.
think?
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm actually liking this. Like, I'm actually gonna fall back. I feel like honestly, I talk a lot in the last couple of years. I've been talking a lot. Like, I think there's a reason why you guys were like here together. So just go at it. I'm here.
Mm. One thing that I found, specifically, if at least from my experience on speaking to hundreds of different people, is that a lot of people actually wrote it down, which was awesome. uh,
Oh,
was
really?
that
Did
a
they?
lot of
Because you asked this
people.
question to a bunch of people.
Well, the thing is that I asked somebody, what is it that we are missing that makes us feel compelled to want to be in a relationship? And a lot of them
Mm.
actually came down with the very fact that they don't know who they are, so they want to have somebody else kind of tell them who they're supposed to be, or
Yeah.
that
Damn.
they don't
Okay.
know their purpose
Okay.
for any reason, or they're just looking for somebody to accept them. But really, when you look down at it, from the women that I've spoken to, they've come down to the very fact that their needs are they need security first off, they need affection and a lot of communication. But the problem is that there's so many men that adapt these qualities, wanting security, that want to have affection and so much communication that we completely forget what it is to be a man in the first place. These are the things we're supposed to be providing, not begging for. So the problem
Okay.
is that
There's a few things with what you just said I'm gonna
Yeah,
disagree on.
like. Okay, just go. Just go.
that's what we're here for.
No, just go.
So I don't think that anyone should try and get into a relationship because they're lacking anything. I think both parties in a relationship should come into it as whole people already.
Mm-hmm.
They should know who they are. They shouldn't want someone else to tell them who they are.
Mm-hmm.
You should figure it out for yourself before burdening someone else with your own insecurities and your own lack of understanding of your own.
Mm-hmm.
First of all,
Hmm.
you should know yourself
Hey.
before you even
Most
go for
definitely.
a relationship, period. So that's the first thing. Like, what
Mm-hmm.
are we lacking? You should be actively striving not to be lacking anything in your own mind already.
Mm.
Because everyone's dealing with that. It's just something that all humans in general have to figure out for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now I can't remember the next thing.
Well, the very fact is that um, that's completely true. I do believe that every single person should be able to have a proper foundation in who they are before they bring their mess to someone else and expect them to clean it. You know.
I think
No,
it
you
alleviates a
want
lot of
us.
problems as well. Like you will sift through like a lot of the BS that a lot of people common like bullshit arguments just because you have that like understanding. And again, you came in with something. I mean, just with something in general instead of like wanting something. So and no expectations. A lot of people fell at that.
Offering,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
offering to share
Yep.
the joy of your
Mm-hmm.
life with someone. You don't
Most definitely.
want that much. Sure, it's great if you get it back in return, but like
Mhm.
ultimately, like a relationship to me on an adult level, which a lot of people don't understand, is based in friendship first. And like, you
Mm-hmm.
should be bringing something to my life if I'm even going to spend time with you, period, right? And
Mm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to give something back to you in as much of a way as I can, right?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So like,
So.
I think that's what's lacking, like the foundation of like moral and ethics in like this day and age in our culture, like especially like we're just bombarded by all these like things in the media and like fear mongering, and I don't watch the news anymore. I'm a much happier person in general. Like,
Mm.
they're not
Mm-hmm.
fucking do anything anymore. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean?
Definitely.
Um,
And
it must be different
the
in the
very
states though, 'cause
oh no no, it's the same way. It's actually the same way.
No, no, no.
Now the problem is that since there's so many people that they want so much out of life but are so lacking in who they are and who they're supposed to be, is the very fact and the very reason why men don't know how to be men today. And because they don't
Mm.
know how to be men, they're too busy trying to run into relationships, hoping that that's what's going to make them a man, even though they're
yeah,
completely way
I
off the
know.
mark.
Yeah,
You know,
it's very messy.
Well, what do you think
so
has like do you think like environment or even like what do you think is the factor of
You
that?
think the
Because it's like
parents?
a cycle apparently, and it's not
well,
getting any better. Because I mean, fuck.
there's I heard this one time, and I mean I've read it countless times that a woman, let's just I understand there's people out there that don't believe this, but I use the quote as an example. Was that a woman was taken from a man's rib, uh, from his side because she's equal with him, under his arms so that way she can be protected by him. You know, and also to provide the very fact that the man is supposed to be doing his job to take care of the woman, to lay down his life, and she's a piece of him rather than, a separate entity. Um, Now the problem is that if there's so many people that, um, men in particular, that don't know their purpose and what they're supposed to be doing, they end up with a very twisted and lacking idea on what it is to be a man for another woman, because they're too busy not knowing how to be a man for themselves. I don't know if that makes sense, but I don't know. That's one thing.
I would really like to send you this video. It's Instagram. Do you have Instagram?
I do have Instagram.
I would love to.
Yeah, say you guys
What's your
Instagram.
Instagram?
Yeah.
My Instagram is the mind of Fabian. I know. Don't.
Oh, great.
That's so
I'm
easy.
gonna add you. Mine is Megan Megan no, sorry. It's Summers 1744 underscore, I believe. And I'm gonna send you this video, and I think it describes what you're trying to describe perfectly. And I love it. Like I love this conversation, first of all. But this guy talking about, his idea behind relationships and marriage, and what marriage meant to him. And he said he had this little sign in his kitchen growing up, and his parents are still together, and after 50 years, and it was being married is getting to live with your best friend. It's pretty cool. And that's how he thought about marriage. And I think you would really appreciate what he had to say in this video.
But
it was how to love a woman.
But isn't it the ultimate goal, though?
He kept on asking, how do you properly love a woman? And for him, that dictated a lot of how he thought about manhood in general. What should I be able to do to